Hi, my name is María Parajeles. I work at the Power Systems Laboratory in ETH Zurich, and I'm part of the ETH project where I look into how to integrate the electrification of the passenger car sector into an evolving power system. Electric vehicles are not just a new source of electricity demand, but they are also distributed energy resources that offer demand-side flexibility to the system. And this becomes very valuable, especially in a system that grows more decentralized and more renewable with the years, as it is the objective for the future Swiss energy system. Bottom-up models allow us to capture regional and behavioral differences across a fleet of electric vehicles. So this is important to capture regional differences in planning for grid infrastructure or grid peaks or integration with renewables. The 60% flexibility that we find in our study is based on having minimal user disruption. That means that we only model modulating the charging event, but not really changing the user's decisions to plug in or how charged they want their battery to be. This minimal user disruption is essential to enable participation in flexibility. This flexibility also, of course, depends on the parking duration of the EVs. It depends on their battery size, the charging power, and ultimately on the availability of charging infrastructure. So one thing that policymakers can do is ensure that there's a deployment of smart and controllable charging infrastructure, especially in workplaces. That becomes very valuable for Switzerland for alignment with PV solar, for example. So what we see on the Nexus E results is that most of the benefits from EV flexibility come from the operational side of the future Swiss energy system. From system-level impacts, we see that flexibility from EVs allows for more intelligently trading energy and also reducing polluting and very pricey peaking power plants. Our simulations show how a central dispatcher would use flexibility throughout the year. So what we see is that in the summer, the system draws the most economical benefit from aligning the EV charging with the solar output. But that's not what we see for the winter. So we see that with a less available power output from solar PV plants, and in general just less available renewable energy, we see that this central planner would then utilize EV flexibility for example, decreasing the peaking of gas power plants or a better scheduling imports and exports of energy. What this means is that static tariffs won't work, so we will need in the future dynamic and possibly also seasonally dependent incentives that will help us reflect the needs of the system better so that we can harvest this EV flexibility more efficiently. We also see that during the summer, the EV flexibility is exhausted more than in the winter. And that shows us that maybe for seasons like the winter, we will need some other flexibilities like from heat pumps to have a better rounded strategy for optimizing the system. We see that as more distributed assets enter the system, like PV system, batteries, and of course EVs, a modeling approach that just assumes that self-consumption comes first will not be enough anymore. Because these prosumers, so people who produce energy and also consume energy, will have more ways to interact with the grid, and that means that they will have also many different objectives in which they can optimize their energy consumption and generation for. Our goal now is to develop a modeling framework that will allow us to understand how a well-designed regulatory framework and a well-designed retail market can link the needs of a central system and also the distributed level of the grid, so these prosumers' needs. Ultimately, what we want is to understand how we can steer household behavior to then align with the overall system needs.